If you are a parent of an under teen or a teen child and that child is involved in online gaming, do not let them go online another minute until you take the time to watch this short video. You're going to start to see litigation all over the place with private lawyers suing these gaming companies. Already, attorneys general all across the country are suing these gaming companies. And if you have a kid, you owe it to your kid to understand what this litigation is about. As I do in all these videos, I'm going to point here to a particular piece of litigation. This is a lawsuit filed November 7th in California District Court. And what this lawsuit talks about is the severe and extraordinary harm that's being done to your children because your children are being subjected to manipulation and brain warfare because of how these games are engineered. You have to understand that in order to realize the damage that's being done to kids when they're spending any amount of time, particularly these extraordinary amounts of time that kids are playing. This lawsuit sounds, as we say, or has counts for strict liability, negligent design, negligent failure to warn, negligence, intentional misrepresentation, negligent misrepresentation, fraud, and it seeks punitive damages. That's from page 1 of this lawsuit right here. What I want you to understand about this litigation, it exposes how all of these gaming companies, in paragraph 3, enlist licensed psychologists and psychiatrists to incorporate cognitive behavior therapy techniques of operant conditioning into their video games. The bottom line is this, folks. These games are engineered by sophisticated professionals to cause harm to your child. And as this lawsuit details, the child's brain is forming right now. The child's brain doesn't have the ability to understand what's happening to it, and neither do you as a parent until you actually read this. But this lawsuit identifies a clearly and recognized condition at paragraph 7 called internet gaming disorder. That's not a joke. It is a literal psychiatric definition that's been around for quite some time, but it's actually getting much, much worse. And just like ADHD and autism and any one of these serious psychiatric and mental conditions, this is a very real condition. And if you're a parent and you're allowing your child to go online for these extraordinary amounts of time, you are literally causing your child disease and harm. At this particular paragraph here, paragraph 18, describes how the video game use became disordered and addictive while a minor, and the symptoms included compulsive play, social isolation, physical inactivity, and functional neurological symptoms. Functional neurological symptoms. As this lawsuit lays out, if you are allowing your child to spend hours at a time on these games, you the parent, are causing this child harm and creating functional neurological systems that may be irreversible. When you understand how these games are constructed, and the lawsuit goes into extraordinary detail and exactly how the gaming companies use, beginning at paragraph 41, operant conditioning, which is a type of psychological treatment, also called instrumental conditioning, to feed into the child, to reprogram the child, to keep the child more and more engaged in the system. And quite frankly, you as a parent, before reading this or really understanding this, have no idea how bad this is, how harmful it is, much less your child. How can a 13-year-old child understand the harm that's being done to him as each one of those screens flash? But as the lawsuit describes, every one of these actions that are on that screen, from the flashing to the reward system to the points to the badges, all of that is designed to keep your kid engaged in it, and it does further harm. But what they talk about is, back to the 70s when parents, you and I might have been playing video games, they weren't nearly this dangerous because, it's a, driving game, a galaxy game or something like that. But by 68, paragraph 68, in the 90s, in the late 2000s, these video games started deploying these tactics. And I got to tell you, folks, just like cigarette smoking, years ago, doctors and adults and responsible people were smoking cigarettes. And then what happened? We had that litigation, and it was revealed just how dangerous it was. This online litigation is going to be every bit as big and every bit as mind-blowing and earth-shattering as the cigarette litigation is because of what they're doing. At paragraphs 74 and 75, they talk about how the transactions are boosted, and these boostings that keep kids more engaged have an impact on their brain. Operant conditioning in Minecraft, Fortnite, and Roblox at paragraph 81. They keep kids engaged in a loop, in this game, in a loop that continues to reinforce behavior, keeps the kids sucked in. And as it happens, you are literally changing that kid's brain. You are rewiring that kid's brain based on what's happening in these video games. They talk at paragraph 92 here about the psychology of process, an operant conditioning tool. Games are known for their use of achievements, badges, and progress indicators that symbolize advancement and status. These features draw on goal-setting theory, again, psychiatric conditions, psychological conditions, using very sophisticated mind-bending techniques, literal mind-bending techniques, in order to change the brain of your child. Again, it's a recognized condition, the video game addiction, paragraph 94 and 95. And then at paragraphs 99 and 100, we know that ADHD and other problems for children are getting more severe. Well, the fact is, video games accelerate that. It's like pouring gasoline on the mind of a child that already is subjected to some problems. But once they get in these video games, it gets worse and worse and worse. Paragraph 112 and 113. Video game addiction has been suggested to be as addictive as heroin. In minors, the creation of this level of dopamine high at such a young age is difficult to overcome. And the repetitive release of dopamine creates, reinforces, and strengthens a dysregulated or dopaminergic neural pathway that propels the user to hyperfocus. Again, if you got one of these kids that are on the games all the time and you see what's happening with their brain, think about what they look like when you take them off, when you force them to go to dinner or get in the car with you or go to school. You know that the brain is different. It's because the kid's brain is literally being reprogrammed right in front of your eyes, and this is an extraordinarily dangerous thing. But if you're letting the kid play on it, it's happening. You're the one that's doing it. Brain scans here at page 112. The bottom line is this, folks. If you have a kid that is suffering because of this online and this gaming, you have rights. You've got to get that child help. Reach out to us, drop contact information in there, and let's see what we can do to help your child to overcome the harm that's been done by these online gaming systems.